Welcome back on this beautiful Saturday morning here at the SB Studios.
Rainy Saturday morning.
Today we're talking about first aid kits. This is going to kick off a little backpacking basics series we're going to do, just covering very general topics pertaining to backpacking and getting into certain aspects of backpacking. We thought we would kick it off by talking about first aid kits.
Yeah, and I think in our past videos we always mention first aid kits, but we never really talk about ours or the needs on what you should do to build your own first aid kit. So
before we launch into our kits that we use, we wanted to talk really about, so you're out there backpacking, but what's the most common thing that's going to happen to you? So by far the most common injuries are blisters, bug bites, and sprains. I mean, and then maybe like gastrointestinal stuff.
Yeah, like maybe you get, you drink some bad water, eat some bad food, or I don't know, get a cold.
Yeah, and then on the terrible spectrum, you've got like broken bones, compound fractures, stuff like that. And obviously, the best first aid kit is to have access to people, or hike with somebody else, or have cell service somewhere.
And of course, wherever you're going, any trip, you always need to make sure people know where you are, where you're expected to be, so that you don't run into a situation like our last trip where search and rescue got sent out to locate somebody.
Yeah, so always, before you even launch into the stuff you're carrying with you, tell people where you are. If you're going somewhere super remote, consider like a spot device or a PLB, or maybe like go baller and get a sat phone or something.
Yeah, and then also, you're gonna have a first aid kit, but know how to do some of this basic first aid stuff. Both Kevin and I actually do have some pretty serious first aid training based on some previous hobbies that we used to have. So we do have a pretty good knowledge of basic, life-saving needs.
We are both former national ski patrollers. So to be a national ski patroller, you have to take a course called Outdoor Emergency Care, which is like a mild EMTB certification.
Yeah, and we're not current.
No, we're not current.
We're not certified right now.
We did that previously, but when you take that course, it's Outdoor Emergency Care, so it's like a 6-month, almost once a week course where you learn.
But we have a high level understanding of what we need to do in certain emergency situations. Yeah.
So that's kind of our thoughts and feelings on first aid kits. There's nothing that you could carry with you that's going to prepare you for like a compound femur fracture or anything, like a heart attack or anything like that. That's where you just need to have access to search and rescue or other people or people you're hiking with. But we're going to go through our first aid kits and we'll pull everything out and tell you why we carry the things we carry.
And of course, with every single one of our videos, there's a million different ways to build a first aid kit. What works for us may not necessarily work for you. This is based on our experience, and I think most people have probably similar first aid kits to what we carry, but do what works for you. If you're building your first aid kit for the very first time, you'll probably start out with a ton of stuff, and then as you go on trips, you'll figure out what you're using and what you're not using. So,
all right, enough talking. Let's open them up.
All right, so let's take a look at my first aid kit. It is 1.6 ounces. So, and it's just in a regular Ziploc bag, nothing fancy. So let's empty it out. So first off, I've got some basic meds here. I've got ibuprofen and Benadryl. Ibuprofen for obvious reasons. Benadryl I kind of use as a sleep aid. So I usually take sleep aids when I'm in my first aid kit. I've got a piece of Cuban fiber tape, repair tape. We have Cuban fiber tarps. This came with the tarp. I just keep it because it weighs pretty much nothing, just in case I need to repair the tarp. Not necessarily needed, but I guess it's nice to have. This is a little bit newer for me. This is actually some Leuco tape or LK tape. This is on a cut down straw. I carry this for my feet in case I were to get any blisters. I've also used it as a bandage as well. Just a little bit of Leuco tape on a straw. Nothing special. Duct tape, of course. Carry duct tape for obvious reasons, for repairs. and I have used this plenty of times. Now that I'm also carrying Leukotape, might be able to get rid of the duct tape, because I don't know if people know about Leukotape, but that stuff is awesome. I've got a 1 dose of Dayquil. I have gotten a nasty cold on the trail before, so it was nice to have Dayquil. And then I've also got NyQuil as well, 1 dose of NyQuil. Let me see. I got this sting relief. Probably don't need this, but it just looks like one antiseptic wipe and pain reliever for sting relief. I've got 2 different like antiseptic type swabs just to like clean wounds. So there's 2 of those, and I have used these before on the trail. Those of you that watch the Isle Royal video, you'll see Kevin's gash that he got on his neck. We cleaned out that wound with some of these wipes. So I got 2 of those. 2 Band-Aids. Band-Aids to me are actually kind of worthless because they don't stay in place, but because you're sweating throughout the day from hiking. But you know, I have 2. Maybe if I injured my finger or something like that, I could use Band-Aids on there. And then I've got a couple different various types of gauze. I've got a larger gauze pad and then 2 smaller ones. These are pretty important. I've used these as well before. And then lastly, I've got a little bit of petroleum jelly. I use this for various reasons. So I can use this on my feet, I can use this on my hands. Helps with chafing as well. So I carry a little bit of petroleum jelly, and then you could also use it as a fire starter, I guess. So that's my first aid kit. Pretty minimal, but it gets the job done.
Okay, it's time to go through my first aid kit. So my total kit here, everything you see is 3.5 ounces. It's a little heavier than Andy. What I will say is this is an ACE bandage, and this does not come with me on every trip. This will come with me on trips like over 4 or 5 days. I brought it with me on Isle Royal. It's purely for sprained ankle preventative maintenance, and then you could use it as roller gauze if you needed to. And it weighs 1.5 ounces. So without the wrap, this is all 2 ounces. So it's still a little bit heavier than Andy's, but let's go through it. So the first thing I do keep in my first aid kit is my extra lighter. And what I've got on here is, like Andy, I keep a bunch of LK tape. And then this is a needle and some thread, all rolled around, you know, essentially a mini Bic lighter. But I do keep my extra lighter in my first aid kit. I bring an assortment of pills. The main ones are ibuprofen, melatonin, Benadryl, and Sudafed. So I do get some allergy issues sometimes out on the trail, and then if I need to sleep a sleep aid some night or something, I'll use the melatonin. But without a doubt, ibuprofen is like the most used drug on the trail. So that's the most used thing out of the pill bag. I carry probably too many bandages. These are 2 just gauze coverlets, and then I will keep some extra gauze sponges, and I could probably size down on these. There's no need to take this many, so I'll probably cut down on this part of the first aid kit. But at Isle Royal, I did have to use these, so I was happy I had them, but just some like cut and abrasion sort of stuff. More pills and creams, and this is probably, other than ibuprofen, this stuff gets used a lot. First, this is just alcohol wipe. Use those on my neck gash in Isle Royal. Also, this is essentially off-brand Neosporin. Use that in Isle Royal. So I would say these things get used a lot. I also, because I like always get bit and I get poison ivy, I do bring some hydrocortisone cream. This stuff is really helpful, especially if you're out there for a couple days and you like one day you get a bunch of bug bites. Along the same lines, this is Calogel. This is a mixture of topical diphenhydramine, which I think is Benadryl. It's either Benadryl or Sudafed, and then a little bit of numbing agent. This is also for stings and stuff like that. I will occasionally, if I have some really spicy food, get heartburn, so I take a couple antacid tablets. And this is Lortimed, Lortidine. This is a non-drowsy antihistamine. So allergy relief, but won't make you drowsy. And then this is the same thing. So you'll notice my like packaged meds like this are mainly for anything immuno related. So stings, bites, allergies, stuff like that, which probably, other than ibuprofen, I suffer with the most out there, especially depending on the season. So that's it. All this stuff is 2 ounces, and then for longer trips or maybe rockier trips or somewhere where I think there's a possibility of me spraining my ankle or rolling my ankle, I'll throw in another 1.5 ounces of ace bandage. And like I said, this can also be utilized in other different ways as roller gauze or something like that. So that is my first aid kit.
All right, so that was just an overview of what we carry and what works well for us. And I think most people probably out there that experience backpackers probably have pretty similar items. But you know, as with all of our videos, you know, all of our great subscribers and everybody watching the videos, you know, post what you guys use, post some differences. You know, get some conversation going. Just because this is what we're using doesn't mean it's, you know, it's necessarily going to work perfect for you. So anyways, yeah, thanks for watching.
It's the first installment of Backpacking Basics.
Thanks for watching, and as Kevin said, you know, like the video if you like it, dislike
it if you hated it.
Like it. Subscribe if you want to.
Yeah, if you want, and then we post a lot of stupid behind the scenes stuff on Instagram if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.